has rolling stock on Melbourne's rail system, but did you know Melbourne had rolling stock in the 19th and the 20th centuries? So in this video, we are going to see the past, present and the future of Melbourne's rolling stock. The swing door trains entered service in 1887 and were the first trains to enter service in Melbourne. Swing door cars had outward opening doors. They were reasonably narrow to ensure that two passing trains could not foul each other if the doors were accidentally left open. At some locations, clearances were tight, and there are stories of swing door cars losing doors that were not closed. The fleet could be seen running in any arrangement, from one car using a double-ended end car up to 7 cars. They were converted to electric trains in 1919. Finally, in 1973, after 87 years of service, the last unit of the swing doors was retired and all the swing doors were replaced by the Harris and the Hitachi EMUs. The Tait trains entered service in 1910. The trains derived their name from Sir Thomas James Tait, the chairman of commissioners of the Victorian Railways from 1903 to 1910. The first cars were built during 1909, with the last entering service in 1952. These trains were nicknamed the Red Rattlers in 1956, when the Harris trains were introduced. The City Loop was starting to open between 1981 and 1985 when Victoria Railways realised that the Tait trains had wooden frames and they realised that it would be at risk of catching fire in the tunnels. So in 1984, all of the Taits were retired and replaced by the Comeng GMUs. a blue Tait train. This was used between 1936 and 1939 when large ships entered Port Melbourne. In 1939, World War II was about to start, and the blue Tait train was restored to normal service. When the Tait trains were converted to electric trains, they were Australia's first electric train. Trains entered service in 1956. The trains derived their name from Norman Charles Harris, the chairman of commissioners of the Victorian Railways between 1940 and 1950. These trains were built to replace the swing doors from the 1950s. The Harris trains were commonly referred to as blue trains due to their deep blue colour with only a yellow band about halfway up the body. Royal blue and yellow were common colours for the Victorian Railway's rolling stock. In 1983, these trains changed their livery to the mint livery due to Victorian Railways being sold off in 1983. 90% of the fleet contained asbestos due to the Harris trains having quite a break-in with experiments. After only 32 years of service, the Victorian government was forced to bury the Harris trains in an old Clayton quarry in 1988. The Harris trains are now replaced by the Comeng GMUs. The Hitachi trains entered service in 1972. These trains are commonly named Martin and King or stainless steel. These trains were built to replace the swing doors and the Tait trains and were the last trains in Melbourne not to feature air conditioning and the first trains in Melbourne to have power closing doors. Extrapolis and Siemens EMU trains were progressively introduced from 2002 to replace the aging Hitachi fleet. The Extrapolis and Siemens trains have features such as push-button operated doors and air conditioning, the lack of the latter feature making the Hitachis unpopular with Melbourne commuters. The aging Hitachi fleet was due to be retired between 2003 and 2007, but due to 31 Siemens trains not running, some of the Hitachi fleet kept running for another 7 years. After 42 years of service, the Hitachi fleet was given a farewell tour in 2014. Most Hitachi trains were scrapped in 2015, with one being preserved at the Newport Railway Museum. 3 carriages are now on top of the Easy's Burger restaurant in Collingwood. The 4D trains entered service in 1992. These trains were a prototype of the Tangara trains due to the 4D trains being built in Sydney. These were also the only double-deck trains to ever run in Melbourne. These trains only operated on the Belgrave and Lilydale lines due to the Hillside Trains network running to Belgrave and Lilydale. The 4D trains were plagued with problems and some were towed by Comeng trains during their 10-year span. After only 10 years of the 4Ds in service, these trains were put in storage in 2002 and were scrapped in 2006 in Brooklyn. The 4D trains are never to be seen again. The Comeng EMUs entered service in 1981 and came to replace the Tait and Harris trains. The first train of the Comeng fleet rolled out of the Dandenong factory in 1981 in the Victorian Railways orange livery. The Comeng EMUs were the first trains in Melbourne to feature AC. These trains also come in 2 types, EDI and Alstom. Between 2010 and 2012, these trains were converted into the Metro Trains livery due to Connex trains being sold off in 2009. Between 2017 and 2020, the Comeng trains had a $75 million life extension program with upgrades for the interior and the exterior, and these trains were painted into the PTV blue and yellow paint scheme at the front of the train. The first carriages to be painted into the PTV blue and yellow paint scheme was 629M and 630M, which are Alstom cars, 493M and 494M, which are EI cars. The Comeng EMUs are set to be replaced by the new high-capacity metro trains between 2020 and 2026.
from Platform 1 will be the 425 Flinders Street, running express from Laverton to Newport, then stopping all stations to Flinders Street. Your next service to depart from Platform 1 will be
The Comeng Chopper sets entered service in 1986 and had a tread brake and a chopper motor. The Comeng Chopper sets were only Alstom units and mostly operated on the Williamstown line as three-car sets. The Comeng Chopper sets retired in 2017 and were placed at Newport workshops. The reason why they retired is because they were not included in the new Metro contract, which saw them retired out of service. These units have been supplying parts to the remaining Comeng units in service. The Extrapolis 100 EMU trains entered service in 2002 to replace the aging Hitachi fleet. The first Extrapolis 100 entered revenue service on the 27th of December 2002, with the last train delivered from the first order on the 17th of December 2004. It ran a special trip from Flinders Street to South Kensington and back to mark the event. The Extrapolis trains had a crazy 9 orders between 2002 and 2019. The Extrapolis train's body shell was built by Alstom in La Rochelle, France, with the rest of the trains being assembled in Ballarat, Victoria. The Extrapolis trains are also the newest trains in the Melbourne Metro Trains fleet. trains on the metro network in Valparaiso, Chile. The Extrapolis trains in Valparaiso, Chile have been running since 2005.
16M.
trains entered service in 2003 to replace the aging Hitachi fleet like the Extrapolis 100. The first train of the Siemens fleet entered revenue service on the 21st of March 2003, with the last train delivered in January 2006. In late 2006, the train suffered a number of braking discrepancies. While in service, 14 trains overshot platforms in the space for 3 days. The 15 units involved in these overshoots were withdrawn from revenue service for checks, and instructions were issued to the drivers to minimize further occurrences. By mid-January 2007, a total of 24 three-carriage trains had been impounded for testing after 20 further incidents of overrunning stations since the 22nd of December 2006. On the 13th of January 2007, Comeng's trains stopped running the Siemens fleet completely. On the 29th of January 2007, Comeng's trains cancelled 37 peak-hour services due to the shortage of operational trains. 3 weeks later, the braking discrepancies for the Siemens fleet were resolved by fitting the trains with sanders to help them grip the rails. is 761M. Metro trains are set to enter service in late 2020 or early 2021. These trains will first run along the Dandenong Corridor, which is the busiest rail corridor in Melbourne. 65 trains have been ordered by the Evolution Rail Consortium, which is made up of Downer EDI Rail, Plenary Group and CRRC. The shells have been built in China, and the rest of the trains were assembled at a Downer factory at Newport Workshops, just northwest of North Williamstown Station. The trains will feature step-free access at rebuilt or upgraded stations and 20% more capacity than the existing Metro Trains fleet. When the Metro Tunnel opens in 2025, the high-capacity Metro trains will start running on the Sunbury line. I hope you enjoyed this rolling stock video. Like, share and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye!